Another day and another set of Jimmy Butler speculation. As every day that goes by, it seems like we get another piece of speculation surrounding Jimmy Butler and possibly not being in a Miami Heat jersey next season. And we're going to break it all down right now on this episode of Heat Digest, as we have more Jimmy Butler foolery. And it's not from Jimmy Butler, it's from just the media, NBA Central to be exact, as they dropped landing odds for Jimmy Butler in a possible trade this offseason, as the Philadelphia 76ers open as the favorites at plus 200 to land Jimmy Butler in a possible trade this offseason. And they're not the only ones here, as the Pelicans, the Nets, the Kings, the Spurs, Lakers, Knicks, Cavaliers, Hawks, and Clippers are all also listed on as possible odds to land Jimmy Butler in a possible trade this offseason. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, I really quickly want to say I don't believe this is happening. I don't believe there's a chance this is happening, and the biggest reason, the biggest kicker is from just 24 hours ago. We had Pat Riley host a postseason press conference where he broke down everything, and we discussed that in the last episode of Heat Digest, so if you haven't seen it, go check it out. We broke it all down, but again, just to reiterate, to re-highlight some of the big key things, the biggest reason I believe we're getting any more speculation surrounding Jimmy Butler today is for a few reasons. The first one, Pat Riley's very blunt comment about telling Jimmy Butler to keep his mouth shut if he's not on the floor. And again, yes, was it the biggest headline? Was it the biggest thing that got clicks from yesterday's post-season press conference from Pat Riley? Absolutely, without a doubt. You would have to be just... You could not have any idea what's going on with the Miami Heat or NBA basketball to understand that would get the most clicks. Obviously, as he really seemed very blunt, almost came off as a bit harsh. But again, like I said in yesterday's video, I don't think that Pat Riley was being harsh. I think he was being very honest. I think he's a very honest man, and he's not going to beat around the bush. He's going to tell you things straightforward, and he's going to give it to you exactly how he feels. And that's what he did yesterday. So it's just another reason that Jimmy Butler, for me to believe and for you guys to believe, that Jimmy Butler will not be moved. Now, I will say after the shut your mouth comment, he did go on to say when he was asked if Butler and Bam could not be moved, or excuse me, if the assets that were not Bam and Butler could not be moved to go get another star to land in Miami in a trade scenario this offseason, would we have to think about moving Butler or Bam Adebayo to go get that star? And Pat Riley's exact answer was, and I quote, flat out, no. Okay? So, again, just another reason, another way to reiterate that the fact that not to worry about Jimmy Butler possibly being in another jersey next season. Now, it doesn't end there with the odds of possibly landing him, as the NBA Central just a few days ago, this is before the post-season Pat Riley press conference, this is from May 3rd. It is now the 7th, saying the Philadelphia 76ers are expected to monitor Jimmy Butler's situation in Miami per Windhorst ESPN. Now, if you don't know who that is Brian Windhorst. He is a great analyst and insider for the game of basketball. He said this on Get Up on ESPN in the morning of May 3rd. And again, do I think Brian Windhorst is lying to us? Absolutely not. He is a very credible source year after year, no matter what team we're discussing, no matter what player we are discussing. He's normally very accurate and very, very good at what he does. He has he knows great people within all of the organizations, it feels like, in the entire NBA, and it doesn't exclude the Philadelphia 76ers, as honestly, every team in the NBA should come out and monitor the Jimmy Butler situation, especially after not even 24 hours after our season ended and our offseason really began. Butler came out and made his demands for his contract extension. And that was the biggest news, as it seemed like kind of a reach from Butler. You're 36 years old. How are you going to come out and demand so much money over a 2-year period? But again, we have one more year on his deal. Whether or not we give him that contract extension or not, he will be in a Miami Heat uniform next season, bearing some miraculous, ridiculous trade in order to get him out of Miami. And again, I do not believe that will happen. And not only am I telling you that, but again, what I've already told you guys about Pat Riley, if you want to, go watch the last Heat Digest video or just Google the Pat Riley press conference, as there's clip after clip surrounding the idea that Butler will not be moved, as well as obviously as well as Bam Adebayo will not be moved this offseason. And that's exactly what exactly what we want to hear, as those two guys are at the forefront of this Miami Heat team. And without those two guys, it really seems difficult to imagine a Miami Heat team that can really go on a big run here next season. Now, it doesn't end there, as we know Jimmy Butler has been in Philadelphia before, but again, he was in Chicago for a long time. He was drafted by Chicago, played a long tenure there before going to Minnesota for 2 quick years, and then landing in Philadelphia in 2018-2019, where he played 55 games, was a good player, averaged 18, 5, and 3.5, 18, 4, and 5, 3.5 rebounds. But again, before landing in Miami, where he's now played 5 seasons, going into his 6th season, where he will be in a Miami Heat uniform. And again, I expect nothing less. Now, we know what happened when Jimmy Butler was in Philadelphia. They made it to the playoffs. It wasn't the longest playoff run, but then he came to Miami, and in that 2019-2020 season, we got one of the gems from Jimmy Butler, as this clip, which I will rotate for you guys right now. And we got this gem of a clip from Jimmy Butler.
Tobias Harris over me?
Tobias Harris over me? Yeah, the Philadelphia 76ers really bit the bullet on that one, as Tobias Harris might be the highest paid player in NBA history to never make an All-Star game. Just saying, he hasn't been very good his entire career, but a lot of teams have fallen for the bait. The biggest one being the Philadelphia 76ers, as now they have to reap the benefits of having Tobias Harris on their team, as he did very little to nothing in their playoff series, and it resulted in them getting bounced, as they did not have enough help offensively, and that may be the biggest reason they want someone like Jimmy Butler to come back, as well as him just being the leader that he is, to come out and really lead the way for Embiid and Maxey. But again, I do not believe there's any concrete to this, in the sense that he'll be traded. I do not believe Jimmy Butler will be moved. Whether or not there's concrete evidence or really a concrete feeling behind the Philadelphia 76ers really monitoring the situation, like I said earlier, every team in the NBA should be monitoring the Jimmy Butler situation, because if Pat Riley would have came out and he didn't say that we would not move Butler and Bam this offseason, there would be hundreds of teams. Every team in the NBA would be calling Pat Riley, hey, what do you want for Jimmy? What is it going to take to get Jimmy Butler in my jersey? And every team should want Jimmy Butler. He's an all-world type of player when he is healthy, and that was obviously the biggest kicker. Obviously, we had a bunch of other quotes from Pat Riley discussing Jimmy Butler's availability and how that is the best ability. And again, we've heard this time and time again. If Jimmy Butler is on the floor, he's the best player on the floor, and it results in great basketball being played, especially in a Miami Heat jersey, as in 5 years, we've gone to 2 NBA championships. Obviously, we have not won an NBA championship. Yes, I know that's the reason we play, but again, if you're getting to the dance 2 times in 5 years, as well as on those other 3 years, deep playoff run after deep playoff run, in the sense of just getting to the playoffs. Obviously, we haven't been the greatest team, and whenever we go on, at least on paper, but again, when we go on these deep playoff runs and these championship runs, everyone is sitting back and questioning, how the hell are the Miami Heat doing it? And simply to say Jimmy Butler is the leader of this team is not even doing the justice it deserves, as obviously Jimmy Butler is not only a leader on the floor, but off the floor, not only emotionally, but again, physically, as he plays the game of basketball at such a high level, game in and game out. But again, that will be it for this episode. I just thought it was a quick, fun video to get out for you guys to really just highlight the more fugazi that is surrounding Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. Let me know down in the comments, out of these teams, where would you like Jimmy Butler to land? Outside of obviously staying with the Miami Heat, as we all want to see Jimmy in a Miami Heat jersey next season and for the rest of his career until he decides to hang it up. But again, a lot of these teams are very interesting. Again, I threw out the idea with the Spurs, sending him to San Antonio to play with Wembanyama would be absolutely just highlight after highlight, as that kid Wembanyama, we're all fucked. When Wembanyama, if he stays healthy and he can put on a little bit of mass, we're all in trouble. If Rudy Gobert obviously won the Defensive Player of the Year, not Wembanyama this year, but again, go ahead and put in your future odds for him to win it like 5 of the next 7 years, because he's going to do it if he stays healthy, and I can't wait to see how it is. I think the Spurs, hypothetically, in a fairy tale situation, a fairy tale world, Butler to the Spurs would definitely be the funnest and the coolest landing spot, in my opinion. But again, all of it being a reach in my opinion. I think he'll be here for the rest of his career, and I hope I'm right. But again, thank you guys for watching this episode of Heat Digest. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel, please go down, click the subscribe button, as about 85% of you guys currently watching this video are not currently subscribed, and we do appreciate all the love and support. So thank you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.